Welcome to Spidell's California Minute. I'm your host, Catherine Zidane, and this week we're covering the pass-through entity tax June 15th prepayment requirement as it relates to new entities and fiscal year taxpayers. We have a complete discussion of the pass-through entity elective tax, including all of the most recent updates at Spidell's 2022-2023 Federal and California Tax Update. You can register for a live seminar or webinar session at caltax.com. Beginning with the 2022 taxable year, California law requires pass-through entities that want to make a pass-through entity elective tax election to make a prepayment of the tax by June 15th of the current tax year to qualify to make the election for that tax year. Even fiscal year entities have to make the payment by June 15th. That means a September 30th fiscal year-end taxpayer will need to make the prepayment by June 15th, 2023 for its 2022-2023 fiscal year. We've had numerous questions on our message board as to whether entities formed after June 15, 2022 are eligible to make the election for the 2022 tax year. The FTB recently issued an FAQ addressing this issue. The FAQ states, quote, qualified entities whose taxable year does not include June 15th in its short period taxable year are not subject to the June 15th prepayment requirement for that taxable year, end quote. This means an existing sole proprietor, single-member LLC, or C corporation that elects to be an S corporation on July 1st, 2022, is eligible to make the pass-through entity tax election in 2022 because the S corporation's short-year return would not include June 15th, 2022. But remember, these entities will have to file two short-year returns, and if the entity was previously a single-member LLC or C corporation, the entity will have to pay the $800 annual or minimum franchise tax twice. If the entity requested that the election be effective retroactive to a date prior to June 16, 2022, it would not qualify to make the election for the 2022 taxable year. This is because the S corporation's short taxable year would include June 15, 2022. The June 15th prepayment is equal to the greater of $1,000 or 50% of the pass-through entity tax due for the prior year if the taxpayer made the election for the prior year. If no election was made for the prior year, the entity only has to pay $1,000 by June 15th. Unfortunately, there are no exceptions to this prepayment requirement. The prepayment requirement is set by statute, so the FTB does not have the authority to allow any exceptions. Only a legislative fix can change this requirement. While many tax professionals are hopeful that a fix will eventually be made to this all-or-nothing approach, we have yet to see any legislation introduced that would address this. Taxpayers who did meet the June 15, 2022 prepayment requirement have to pay the remaining balance by the original due date of the entity's 2022 return without regard to extensions. For calendar year taxpayers, this is March 15, 2023. But taxpayers may want to pay the remaining balance or a portion thereof by December 31, 2022, so they can claim a higher deduction for the tax payments on their 2022 federal tax return. Payments of both the prepayment and the regular pass-through entity tax have to be made by either using WebPay and indicating that the payment is a pass-through entity elective tax payment, or by submitting a check with Form 3893. The FTB has stated that they will not allow pass-through entity owners to claim the credit for payments that were not made with Form 3893 or on WebPay with the pass-through entity tax box checked. Stay up to date on the pass-through entity elective tax and other state tax issues with a subscription to Spidell's California Tax Letter. You can see a list of subscriber benefits and download a sample issue at caltax.com under Publications. That's all for this week. Join us next time for another episode of Spidell's California Minute.